like peak oil and nuclear war, we don't have cars anymore. It's over. There's no gasoline. Gasoline only lasts for 6 months on the
Oh,
shelf.
peak oil was 2005.
I know, but I know peak oil. But if it's real that peak
I don't
oil,
know. Peak oil was if it was real, it was 2005.
yeah, but that just means we're on the other side of it, and so we're fighting more and more wars and getting more adventurous with how we procure oil. But that
The
means,
shale, the fracking is
yeah,
the big reason why we're noticing it not as much as we would otherwise would.
but that means we're going to get like 50 years out of it. We're going to get 50 more years before we have
No,
this revolution.
no, fracking burns out a lot faster than the regular oil wells.
Yeah, but okay, but hold on. Let me see. First of all, Noam Chomsky says he was never on Epstein Island. Chomsky and his wife Valeria were in regular correspondence and association with Epstein, meeting for dinners in New York, attending academic events, and relying on him for financial tax advice. What the hell, Noam Chomsky? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, he says that he never went to the Caribbean with him, never was on the island, had no idea what was happening there.
Well, it has to be bullshit because he didn't actually know anything about finance or
I mean,
taxes.
what who
Epstein.
the Epstein? Well, he was a financial guy before he was Epstein, right? He was working for what, Goldman Sachs or something
Well,
before that, right?
he got jobs at those places, but he didn't get those jobs on account of his knowledge of anything like that. He got it basically as part of his whole corrupt spy game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
So he never knew any. He never knew anything about taxes or finance or anything.
Chomsky said, "quote We never went to his island or knew anything about about anything that happened there." Asserting that Epstein deceived them by presenting himself as a philanthropist and scientist.
Have you ever
Wow.
seen an interview of Epstein talking?
Yeah, lots.
You have. Okay,
Yeah, of
so
course. I've seen him say, I'm
how can
pleading
you
the
have
fifth, 12th, 14th, and whatever he said, all the amendments that he didn't want to. Yeah, I've seen those interviews.
how can you have seen him talk for an extended period of time and not come away with the impression this guy doesn't know anything about anything?
He knew about some things. I mean, I don't know what he knows about taxes. I don't know what the hell Chomsky's relationship with the finance and taxes. I mean, he obviously knew a lot of people. I mean, I don't think he was an idiot. He kept a giant human trafficking ring going for years and years and years and years.
He was an idiot. I mean, he might have had that going, but it wasn't by dint of his being brilliant.
No, but he was successful at amassing large sums of wealth and evading capture for a very long time. So he did. I don't know brilliant, but I think that he was probably a good con man. He had a lot of people under his little finger, he wrapped around his finger. I'm going to ask, if peak oil happened in 2005, how much longer do we predict that we will have enough oil to keep going as we're going?
It's not clear, but the fracking shale stuff is dropping off pretty quick. So there was going to be tightening of the belts on this front even before the Iran war.
Yeah. So let me ask. Oh, I'm gonna hold on. Let me ask Google. If 2005 is peak oil, how much longer do we have in our oil in the world's oil supply to keep going? Okay, so it's thinking. Okay, so 40 to 50 years. It says that if conventional oil peaked in 2005, as some theories suggest, we aren't running out as quickly as initially feared. The world's oil supply. This is Stanford Graduate School of Business. To keep
it's not
going
a well-formed question.
Huh?
It's not a well-formed question.
I think it understood what I mean. It says we have enough oils. The world's oil supply is expected to keep going for another 40 to 50 years, though global consumption patterns are shifting long before reserves completely deplete. The reason why we haven't run dry is because shale and fracking, proven reserves, current proven global reserves are estimated to last about 40 years. Peak demand, industry and analysts expect overall demand for oil to plateau and potentially decrease.
So one thing is that there is a lot more oil on the ground than it will ever be
extracted,
worth or possible to pump.
Yeah.
So we're never going to, strictly speaking, not have oil in the ground anymore to pump anymore, right? So there's always going to be oil there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the question is, I guess, number one, how fast can we get it out of the ground? And number two, how energetically productive is it to get it out, get the oil out of the ground, right? So, on the first run, I mean, um, we can subtract out the non-conventional sources that the IEA reclassified as conventional in the 2005-2006 cycle to kind of cover up the fact this is happening, and get the real signal out and see that while it is dropping off, it's not dropping off that fast.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, the energy aspect of it is extremely hard to measure because, I mean, how far do you have to actually unwind all of the different energy inputs? Are you gonna? So is the energy that you
so how much time do you think we got?
Constructing the oil well, constructing the getting
The
all
refineries and all
the
that.
employees back and forth to the oil wells, and
it'll get harder and more expensive. This is why the Horizon drill. That's why the Deep Sea Horizon was such a ridiculous thing that happened. Like we're digging further out, we're drilling further out and deeper than ever because it finally makes sense. They knew that oil was there for a long time, but they're going further out because it's worth it now because oil prices are going up.
Well, it's a different direction, right? The energy part, right? If now, I guess there's one upshot, which is that we're totally flying blind on the energy because it's kind of impossible to effectively measure, right? That's the one part. The other part is, of course, I mean, that's the real kind of thermodynamics, right? Are you actually getting more energy out of the ground than you put into the process of getting that oil out of the ground with? So that now you're flying blind as to what the answer on that is, right? But if the answer is actually no, then it will grind to a halt because we know the physics says, well, there's no perpetual motion machine, right? So there's we have those kinds of logics, but we're probably not at a point where that's going to be the relevant factor yet, quite as much as the kind of political responses to, I guess, the different kind of milestones being passed. So, what the fracking launch, I guess, was one political thing. You rigged it 2000, get Cheney in there. Cheney gets all the fracking going, and that quote unquote rescues the USA for the peak period or whatever. And then in '98, right, Cheney was out giving speeches to some kind of petroleum society or whatever.
I remember. Yeah,
saying that the peak was very imminent, right? So
I was working with the peak oil group a while, and it was like, we were talking about how long we have